on there, YouTube? Back again on the rat rod, trying to make some progress this weekend. As you can see, I've been putting the scale diesel engine back together, all the bits that fell off and stuff while we were mounting it. I've got drying back on, mix of super glue and hot glue. Not sure how well that'll hold. This is the biggest issue right here. My fan and water pump it's all metal, and it was just glued on, so that's not a very sturdy thing here. So we'll just have to see. I took the grill off. Right now I've got it outside getting some paint on it. I did adjust the mounts a little bit more. I'm not sure if you can even see that in there. They're just angled back just a little, so I can do some different things with the grill, because I wasn't happy. It was a little bit too straight up and down. Yeah, it just needed a little bit of a rake to it. I haven't test fitted it now that the radiator fan is back on, so I don't know if it's going to fit. We'll just have to see how that plays out. But this video, I want to go ahead and weather the engine. This engine was all shiny and new. It looks like an old Cummins engine or something, but it's this weird green color because it came from China, and it's a model of a similar style diesel engine. I don't remember the name. What was it? Yuchai? I don't know. It's a foreign diesel engine, industrial equipment, but it looks like a Cummins. I'm not going to paint it. I'm not going to try to take it apart. It has metal and plastic bits all over it. I am going to weather it, and I haven't weathered anything in a while. So really, my main goal, if you saw in the other video, when I mounted it, I burnt the side, melted the dipstick off, so it's already got a start on the grunginess, the grungy look I'm trying to go for. So I think first off, I'm going to do a black wash. I'm going to do a heavy black wash with pigment binder and my Vallejo pigments. If I can find the black pigment. There it is. So I've got these two products, and I am going to, in the magic of television, do it in a hurry here so you can see kind of how I do it. I've got to find an old shirt here. Yeah, got one. So I can wipe it down. So I'm going to find a brush and get started. Alright guys, so gotten both sides done. It's time to start wiping. Thing. Oh, I can't see what's going on. So I went real heavy over the entire thing with my Vallejo black pigment and pigment binder. Not sure yet how dirty I want this thing to be. Just got to see how it wipes. Every panel on this is different. There's so much detail. It's gonna be hard to get a lot of this off. So I got way up in all the little nooks and crannies, trying to bring out as much detail as we could. It's looking pretty good so far. Got all over the oil filters. That's looking good. Liking it. Let's see. A little bit more up here. Alright, I'm going to flip it around to the other side and we'll take a look at that. Alright, so it's looking pretty good so far. I gotta let this dry for a little bit. I'm going to put my pigment binders up. I've got some other things here I want to try. I'm going to do a little bit of my rust streaks. Maybe. Not sure. Oh, that's engine oil. Okay, that's what I want to do. I've got this AK engine oil. So I'm going to put that in a few strategic places once this black wash dries. And we'll see how that looks, see if that gives us a better effect. It's really cool how that brings out so much detail. I could probably wipe it a little more, but I really want this to, it needs to look like a junkyard engine. It needs to look like something that somebody pulled out of an old dump truck or something and just threw it in their rat rod, got it running and rolled with it. And so far, I think that's working out pretty well. So I should probably do a little research on like the 12 valve Cummins or 6 valve, whatever they are. I don't even know. See where where they typically leak from, but I think I've got a basic understanding. We got a fuel filter here. I'm guessing this is the fuel rail. All those metal wires are going to be your fuel lines to your injectors. Injector pump's probably somewhere over there, so I'm just going to dump a bunch of engine oil down around the bottom and a few spots around the edge of the head on the other side. We'll see what kind of look we get out of that, but gotta wait, let this dry first, and then we'll pick back up there. Alright guys, so I'm waiting on my weathering to dry. Got a fan on it in the background. In the meantime, I thought I'd go ahead and look at trying to make a firewall, since this body does not have one. I've got a piece of sheet metal here, and I've got my spare cab, which is not doing very well. There's a bunch of cracks in the primer now. I guess the plastic or PLA or whatever this is has gassed out, so all the body work I did is lost, and not sure if it can be repaired, but we'll make something out of that one day. In the meantime, I've traced my firewall, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that out with some tin snips, if I can find where they are. Here they are. And see how bad it looks. Well, oops guys, so if you've seen the original video about these, the white one is from Shapeways, this one is from a local 3D printer that I found on a website. Seem legit, but they are vastly different. So I've got this nice firewall here that fits pretty well, and on this cab does not fit at all. It is off quite a bit. So we've got one for that truck if we ever decide to build it. So I'm going to try to make another one here for the white cab, since that's the one that's going to go on this build. Alright guys, so I got the firewall in. It's not mounted yet, it's just wedged between the cab and the motor. Looks pretty good. I scuffed it all down, got the zinc coating off of that sheet metal. I went ahead and hit my grill shell with some satin red paint. It's still a little tacky as well. Just trying to see if it'll lose that plastic look. So yeah, things really coming together. It's not too far away from driving. I've got to figure out electronics and replace that servo. Other than that, it's just down to the details. So let me get you a better look at the engine. It's almost dry. Here's the driver's side. I think it came out pretty good. The engine oil stuff that I put on there is still a little glossy, but it looks the part. And I coated the oil pan pretty heavily with that. It'd be hard to see it because of the lighting, but I think it looks pretty legit. I did a little bit up around the top of the heads, and yeah, I still am not sure yet what I'm going to use for piping for the turbo. I gotta have something. I'm not too big on the tiny details, but I've got to have a giant stack coming out of that turbo. At least some kind of exhaust coming out of that turbo. It'd be cool if I could put a little flapper on the exhaust stack, but I'm sure y'all saw the Mighty Car Mods and Roadkill YouTube videos here recently. Their Subaru they put a turbo out of the hood and had a flapper on it. Something like that maybe for the exhaust would be cool. Let me get you around the other side and take a look. Yeah, this side looks pretty good. I think this side actually looks better. Some of it's still wet. You can see down in there underneath the alternator. But I've got the motor all back together. I've got my belts on and everything hooked up. So put my starter back on. I was thinking about going back over it with a dull coat, but that, if you remember from the other weathering videos, that pigment binder acts as a dull coat itself. It's a dulling agent. So with the black pigment, it's kind of dulled most of it. So it was too easy. I feel like I should do like 3 more steps on the weathering on that motor, but really that's all it took. A heavy black pigment wash and a little bit of engine oil all around and up in the nooks and crannies, and that's it. I'm content with how it looks. It looks correct for this type of vehicle. Now we just got to get the body looking right. Let's see if we can see the firewall there. Like I said, it's just wedged in there, but I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, not sure yet how I'm going to attach that. There are mounting points made into this 3D printed body, but they're kind of big, and I don't want to put a whole bunch of big bolts around it. I think there's 5. So we might do something closer to the edge with some scale hardware, because we don't want to draw attention to giant RC type components. And I'm running out of M3 hardware, and I've got a ton of scale bolts that are M1.5, I think. Look like lug nuts and stuff like that, so that may be something to think about. I'm going to wrap it up here. It's getting late, so I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday night. I hope you guys are too. I appreciate everybody watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and follow along on Instagram. And I'll see y'all in the next video.